Have you ever received a totally out of whack engineering estimate for a very simple feature, with the engineering manager claiming data model constraints as the key culprit? If yes, then hang around to learn about the significance of data models and why a product manager should care about its design decisions. Being technical can be a huge asset for PMs. This series is designed to help you gain this superpower. Subscribe to this channel for similar content. At its core, data modeling is a process used to define and organize your product's data. It creates a blueprint for how data is stored, managed, and used in the product stack. Think of it as the architectural plan of a building. You need to know where everything goes before you start building. Why is it crucial for product managers to stay actively involved in the data model design part of product aiming? Because as a PM, understanding your product's data structure is like understanding the backbone of your product. It influences everything from user experience to how your features are implemented. This is not one of those technicalities best left to developers, but something so foundational to the longevity and scalability of your product that as a PM, you must play a big role in its design decisions. Don't believe me? Let's dig deeper and see if I'm able to convince you. The design of the data model ascertains how users will interact with the data. The actual UX design can only be intuitive and align with users' workflow if the data model supports this. Probably obvious that the model dictates the information architecture of our products. Things like structuring the navigation and layout of the app depend on the shape of the underlying data relationships. A well thought out data model allows for consistency across different parts of the application, as the same data structures and relationships are presented in a uniform way. When users understand how data is organized, even subconsciously, their interactions with the app become predictable, even joyful. Now let's double click into the theory of data model design, and then we'll review an example to internalize the theory. Data modeling involves creating a visual representation of a system where you identify the key entities or objects and their relationships. This includes detailing attributes of each entity and the nature of the relationships between them. Let's consider a simple e-commerce platform as our use case. This platform allows users to browse products, add them to their cart, and make purchases. The entities here are customers that represent the users of the e-commerce platform, product that represents items available for purchase, order that represents completed purchases by customers, shopping cart that represents a temporary selection of products by a customer before completing their purchase. These entities have a relationship with one another. A customer can have multiple orders. An order contains multiple products. A shopping cart contains multiple products. Entities also have attributes. For example, a customer entity has customer's name, addresses, email addresses, loyalty program status, preferences, and more. In summary, data is represented using foundational entities that have relationships with one another and have attributes that describe them. The e-commerce data model that we just reviewed was a high-level business-focused data outline showing key entities and relationships, but not delving into further detail. In my experience, this is usually the minimum bar for a product manager's direct and active involvement in data model design. The next level of detail is elaborated in what's called a logical data model that goes a level deeper, showing more complex relationships and attributes, but still independent of the actual database system. In my career, I have found this level to be led primarily by staff and principal developers. It's not super interesting to us PMs and is kind of their job to get this right, if I'm being honest. The most detailed version is found in Final Tech Design and elaborates exactly how data will be stored in the database, including tables, columns, keys, etc. It is super helpful to know how to read these documents, especially if your product is suffering from performance issues or has too much tech debt. Now let's switch gears. Are you wondering about the relationship between data model and database? Database is the practical implementation of the data model. The database is where data is actually stored, retrieved, updated, and deleted. It acts as a central repository where all the product data is stored. It allows users to query the data to retrieve specific information based on their criteria. Databases facilitate CRUD operations. This is a fancy way to say that users can add new records, read existing data, update data, and delete records as needed. It enforces data integrity rules like primary keys, foreign keys, and unique constraints to ensure accuracy and consistency of data. Databases typically have built-in mechanisms for backup, allowing for data recovery in case of loss or corruption. It can integrate data from various sources, providing a unified view of data from multiple different systems. That's the end of our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for similar content. See you in the next one.